We're very excited today to present the latest addition to the Ignition ecosystem. It's a new edition of Ignition. We call it Ignition Maker Edition.
Ignition Maker Edition is a new flavor of Ignition that is completely free for personal, non-commercial use. Ever since the initial release of Ignition, you've asked us for a way to take the exciting and inspiring potential of Ignition home with you, and today we're happy to finally make it possible. We see this as a kind of final mile on our mission towards community engagement, because you no longer have to leave your enthusiasm for Ignition at the office.
Ignition has been widely appreciated in our industry as a powerful way to rapidly build automation applications. And being able to use Ignition in this way for personal use is not only powerful, but it can be downright fun. So what might you use Maker Edition for? Home automation is a likely choice. This is a space that's really booming right now, and Ignition's capabilities built for the industrial automation sector make it a really natural and powerful fit for home automation as well. And you're going to see a great example of this in a few minutes from Travis. You can automate your lights, monitor energy usage. You could run Ignition on an old desktop you have laying around, or play around with a Raspberry Pi. We've seen people use Ignition to manage the data from a personal weather station, or build dashboards and scoreboards for their kids' sports teams. You could build a system to manage your bills. We've got someone here in our QA team who built an application to help him sort and organize his mineral collection. The possibilities are, of course, endless. You can pretty much tackle any kind of project you want as long as it's for personal, non-commercial use. Or even if you're just trying to learn Ignition, Maker Edition would be a good fit for that as well.
So why the name Maker Edition? To us, this name evokes thoughts of tech enthusiasts who enjoy learning and building new things. Calling it Maker Edition brings Ignition into a completely different space, and it really captures the spirit of what we wanted to deliver, a version of Ignition that stands on its own to spur innovation and excitement among users who love to build and make things. Beyond that, the makerspace environment is focused on concepts like education, accessibility, and sharing. All of these are found in the Ignition ecosystem.
Maker Edition lets you take what you learn at Inductive University and put it to use immediately, no matter whether you're a seasoned automation professional or a student who's never been inside of a factory.
The Ignition Exchange is the perfect hub to get started quickly with custom resources built by other users. And now it's a great place to take the amazing things that you build in Maker Edition and share them back with the community.
The Ignition Module SDK has always been the ultimate way to extend and customize Ignition's functionality. And using the SDK, anybody can build a module to let Ignition do practically anything. This unlimited flexibility and extensibility is perfect for Maker Edition because we know that Maker Edition is going to spur many new use cases for Ignition, and that means that it will be paired up with technologies that it's never been asked to interoperate with before. And to be candid, we're really excited to see what kind of innovative new modules are created inspired by Maker Edition projects, and how these sorts of innovations can be brought back into the industrial environment of standard Ignition.
Our user forum has always been a great place to interact with colleagues from the Ignition community and IA's technical team as well. It's a great place to learn, and now there's a new Maker-specific subforum, which provides a really great place to share ideas and to share your creations.
Okay, so to give you an idea of what we're talking about, we've invited crowd favorite Travis Cox to give you a quick peek at the system he's been putting together at his house. All right, take it away, Travis.
All right, well, thank you guys. I am truly excited about this, and I've always been trying to figure out different ways I can leverage Ignition to solve different challenges for myself personally, and of course for us at the office. And this is now a great way for anybody to solve challenges at home, and that's really what I've done. I have used Ignition, specifically here Maker Edition, to build my home automation system, to manage my bills, to really track any kind of data that I want here at home. And I'm going to give you guys a peek into this here today. So let's go over here. So here you're actually seeing kind of a first look at Maker, the Ignition gateway page here. And so I've got a project. I'm going to go ahead and go to Run It, View My Projects. And I've got my home automation project. And I'm going to give you guys a sense of what I'm doing here. So let's go ahead and first log into it. All right, so we are now loading that. And I'm going to agree and close this. So I'm using Ignition here to manage a lot of different devices and to talk to a lot of different APIs out there. So first and foremost, I have a ton of Z-Wave devices here. Anything from Schlage front door lock to my garage door opener to lights I have throughout the house and more. I'm also connecting to a lot of different APIs. So I've written interfaces to these APIs using Ignition standard scripting functions there. So we're using all of the standard features that Ignition has. Now, the Z-Wave in particular, we didn't have a built-in module for that, but I have built a module that I put on our Ignition module development community. It's on GitHub, so anybody can see and play around with that. So here you're seeing kind of a first overview of my home and looking at the current weather. I can see right now the garage door, the lock is unlocked, and I am using notifications, specifically Twilio, to send text message to myself when certain things happen, especially if lights are left on too long. I want to be able to turn those off, whether I could do it automatically or whether I come into the interface and do that. So I can see, status of I have Nest thermostats. I've got Ring from the doorbell, and I've got a camera in the back. We're going to take a look at all of these. And some of these areas I can click on to turn these things on or off. So if I want to turn on my garage light, I can go ahead and do so. Turn that back off. I can open the garage door from here. Very handy when we go on a walk. I can come back to open the app on my phone and just simply open the garage door right away. Also with the thermostats, I can go and control the set points here if I wanted to with those. But that's the first look there. I've got a ton of other areas we can go into. I'm using it for my irrigation. I've got a Ratio controller. I'm using APIs to connect to that to get information about the drip. I can turn on or off from here. I have a security system, and I can see the status of that right now. So it's turned off. I can see if there's any doors or motion detection within the house. I've got cameras throughout the house as well, and I can see the current status of some of these cameras. Now I've turned a lot of these off here, but you can see the cameras at a glance. I can see this one. This is a backyard camera that the battery is actually dead. I got to go charge that one. I can go over here, look at the pool. I got an iAqua Link controller that I'm connected to through an API, getting information about the pool. I can see I have DirecTV, so I can see who's watching what on each of the receivers. Right now, they're all turned off. And one of the really fun things is I was able to get a Model 3 this year. I'm really excited about that. And I'm able to tap into the API and get information about the Model 3 and so where it's located, the odometer, the temperature, and I could even control or unlock it if I wanted to from here. I'm also connected to our energy and gas, through PG&E, and they're sending data to Ignition. I can parse data, put it to database, so I can see that information over time. And I'm managing, bills with this. I'm not going to show that particular screen. I can see all the alarms. So here I can see my battery's low is the only one that's there, but I've got a ton of alarms. If the spa was left on too much, if the doors are open or lights are on for too long, I can automatically send notifications to myself. So to look at this kind of a high level, I've got a ton of Z-Wave devices here that are all connected in, anything from fountains to locks and lights. And I'm also connected to a bunch of APIs. So these are all the APIs I'm going to, like Samsung and Tesla, the weather, Wise cameras, a whole bunch of things to bring this information in and display it on screen there. So hopefully you guys get a nice little peek into my home automation system. It's really exciting for me to be able to leverage Ignition and build on more and do more within this. I even have connected my home automation system to Amazon Echo. So to give you a sense of this, I can say, Alexa, ask Ignition platform, how many alarms are currently active?
There are 19 alarms active.
So we can really interface with all of that and go a lot further with all of this. So with that, I'm going to hand it back over to you, Carl and Colby.
Oh, great. Thank you, Travis. Yeah, so maybe it's not fair for us to tease you with something built by the world's foremost Ignition expert, but the point is it perfectly embodies the type of accessibility and innovation that Ignition is famous for, and the way that now being able to use it at home unlocks so much potential. I mean, you see data APIs pulling data together. You see the development of a module that he's now made open source for the community to benefit from with the Z-Wave driver. All of these different aspects that really show the power of Ignition.
So let's take a few minutes now and look at how you get started using Maker Edition. It's really very simple. In just a few minutes, you'll have a Maker Edition installation up and running. The first place to start is the new Maker Edition website, which you can find from our homepage or follow the URL on this slide. And let's quickly walk through what the install and setup looks like. After all, it just takes a few minutes.
All versions of Ignition, including Edge and Maker Edition, are now part of a single installer. It still takes less than 3 minutes to install, and this part is the same for all of the editions. Maker Edition is included in version 8.0.14. And since we have a few more seconds here, we wanted to point out that this version also includes a brand new installer system. The new installer has a consistent experience across all platforms, is much smarter in upgrading modules, including our third-party strategic partner modules, and it has better support for automated installations.
So once Ignition is installed, you'll be brought to the system commissioning page, which now begins with edition selection. So this is where you can choose Maker Edition. Then you can agree to the EULA, and then you have to apply a license key, which you can get for free. So all you need to do is have an Inductive Automation account. So you go to your account page, and there's a new Maker Edition section where you can simply click the Get License button, and you'll be given a free Maker Edition license. So you just copy and paste the license key and an activation token into your gateway that's sitting in the commissioning phase. And there you have it. You have a activated Ignition Maker Edition installation.
So how is Maker Edition different from regular Ignition? First and foremost, of course, is the fact that Maker is really free for personal use. All you need is an Inductive Automation account to receive your Maker Edition key. Maker Edition includes most of our popular modules, including Perspective, Tech Historian, SFCs, SQL Bridge, Web Dev, and more, as well as some modules from our strategic partners, the CirrusLink MQTT modules and Cepasoft's Web Service module. It includes up to 10,000 tags and 10 concurrent user sessions, which should be plenty of room to build incredible systems.
And that's it. So as you can see, it took less than 2 minutes to install and license Ignition Maker Edition, and now we're ready to start building whatever we want to.
Ignition Maker Edition is available right now, and we encourage you to go download it and start building.